In our lifetime, we absorb facts, information, and skills. We get our theoretical and practical understanding through education and experience. It's called knowledge. Welcome to television's longest-running high school quiz show, Knowledge Bowl. Let's join two of our 16 competing Northeast Michigan high schools and our host, Astrid Fitzpatrick, for today's match.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Bowl, Michigan's longest running quiz show. I'm your host, Astrid Fitzpatrick. Today our game is between Roscommon and Onaway, and we'll start by introducing our teams, starting with Onaway.
Hi, my name's Thomas Anglin. I'm a senior.
Katie Adair, sophomore.
Noel Nash, junior.
Taylor Erkey, junior.
Elena Madison, senior.
And they're joined by their coach, Steve Watson. And our team from Roscommon.
Blake Erickson, senior.
Jim Gee, senior.
I'm Devin Lovegrove, senior.
David Disney, senior.
And they're joined by their coach, Jim Peralius. I'd also like to thank our judges today, Matthew Fitzpatrick and Joey Griskowiak, for being here. Our first round is the toss-up round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
Round 1 is a toss-up format. A question will be asked, and the first competitor to ring in has the opportunity to answer the question. If a correct answer is given, the team is awarded 10 points. No consulting is allowed. If the answer is incorrect, then the question goes to the opposing team to answer.
We'll get started with our first round. What unit of measurement is represented by the abbreviation KCAL? Katie? I'm sorry, what was that?
Kilocalorie.
That's correct. A person who is completely colorblind sees all colors as shades of what? Devin?
Gray.
That's correct. What Canadian province is home to the towns of Goose Bay and Gander? David?
Ontario.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? The correct answer was Newfoundland. What scientist doesn't belong in this group? Johann Kepler, Edwin Hubble, Nicholas Copernicus, Edmund Halley, or Gregor Mendel? David?
Gregor Mendel.
That's correct. How many square yards of carpeting are needed to carpet a room 9 feet by 12 feet? David?
108.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Noel?
96.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was 12. In Portsmouth, New Hampshire, the Russo-Japanese Peace Treaty in 1905 was signed. Theodore Roosevelt presided at the meeting. What did he receive for his efforts? Jim?
Nobel Peace Prize.
That's correct. What vegetable is a green squash with an Italian name? Taylor?
Zucchini.
That's correct. Which of the following terms means malleable to the artist working with ceramics? Green, plastic, terraformed, globular, or crystalline? Blake?
Globular.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Katie?
Green.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was plastic. In 2 court rulings against the Do Not Call registry, one judge ruled that Congress did not authorize the proper agency to run it, and the second ruled it violated what right? I think the correct answer was free speech. Calculate 6 factorial divided by 8. The correct answer was 90. Which Alfred Hitchcock film involves the murder of David Kentley by his school chums Philip and Brandon, who hold a party some hours after the murder? At the party are David's fiancée, his father, his aunt, his former best friend, and a former professor of the young men, played by Jimmy Stewart. David?
Rope.
That's correct. What was the intended purpose of the elephants in Hannibal's great army? Devin?
Intimidation.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Taylor?
Transportation.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was to smash enemy lines. A merchant ship of one state may search the warship of another state in time of peace only on suspicion of 3 things. Name any one.
Thomas?
Slave trade.
That's correct. And we also would have accepted piracy or flying false colors. Allied troops were gassed with what chemical element at the Second Battle of Ypres in 1915? Jim?
Mustard gas.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? And the correct answer was chlorine. When he was nominated for president, Republicans cheered, "In your heart you know he's right." Democrats mocked the slogan with, "In your guts you know he's nuts." Name the politician. And the correct answer was Barry Goldwater. What 7-letter term describes manufactured goods or raw materials that are transported from one place to another? Thomas?
Product.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Devin?
Goods.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was freight. A man is heating liquid A, which will be mixed with liquid B, now cold. If he continues heating A, the resultant mixture of A and B will be less hot than if he were to mix it now. Why? The correct answer was because A is already boiling, so further heating it will reduce the quantity without raising the temperature. This is the end of Western civilization, warned Lewis Douglas, budget director under Franklin D. Roosevelt, when the president announced that the country was going off what standard? Blake?
The gold standard.
That's correct. What 2 animals are named in a literal translation of the German epithet Schweinhund? Devin?
Pig and dog.
That's correct. The orange tree has dark green leaves and fragrant flowers of what color? Noel?
White.
That's correct. In the 13 original colonies, 10 had royal governors appointed by the crown, while 3 had governors appointed by private proprietors. Name any one of these 3 proprietary colonies. Devin?
Virginia.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Thomas?
South Carolina.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. We would have accepted Maryland, Pennsylvania, or Delaware. According to a study by Boston Hospital, eating what kind of food every day more than doubles the risk of colon cancer, the second leading cancer killer? Devin?
Beef.
Judges? Okay, that's correct. The following peninsulas are correctly matched with the continent they are found on, except Iberian, Asia, Yucatan, North America, Crimean, Europe, Cape York, Australia, or Balkan, Europe. Jim?
Iberian Asia.
That's correct. That's all the time we have for our first round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Okay, welcome back. So far we have Onaway with a score of 40 and Roscommon with a score of 80. Our next round is the bonus round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is the bonus round. It consists of toss-up questions, as in round 1. However, this is the twist. The team answering correctly then gets 4 bonus questions. For each question answered correctly, a series of points will be awarded. Team members can consult, but only the team captain can answer the question. After an incorrect answer, the toss-up portion begins again for both teams.
All right, let's get started. What do the Hollow Hills, the Myths of Avalon, and the Once and Future King have in common? Devin?
Arthur. The King Arthur.
That's correct. They're all stories about King Arthur. Okay, give the political slang for each of the following. A state political leader, such as the governor, whose name is put in presidential nomination, though he has no chance of winning.
Pundit, I don't know.
And the correct answer was favorite son or native son. Okay. Spell the masculine pronoun in the possessive case. Blake?
HIS.
That's correct.
I didn't want to risk it.
These answers all contain the word neck, a single major thoroughfare where traffic is often congested.
Bottleneck, right? Yeah. Bottleneck.
That's correct. Very high or dangerous speed.
Neck breaking.
Breakneck.
That's correct. Slowing down on a road to look at an accident.
Oh, rubbernecking.
Rubbernecking.
That's correct. And Minister of Finance for Louis XIV.
Neckalope. Oh.
And the correct answer was Jacques Necker. Okay. Identify the town in German legend and in Robert Browning's narrative poem when a magician who, in revenge for not getting paid by the citizens of the town for ridding it of rats, led the village children away to disappear in the mountain. The correct answer was Hamelin, as in the Pied Piper of Hamelin. It was an important Roman city until conquered by the Huns, the Ostrogoths, the Byzantines, and the Lombards. In the 13th century, the Viscontis emerged as the ruling family. Name this Italian city which became preeminent in the north, conquering even Genoa. The correct answer was Milan. Other than Germany, the German language is spoken mainly in 2 other European nations. Name them. Jim?
Austria and Switzerland.
That's correct. Okay, and these are about wars. Who won the Russo-Japanese War?
Japan. Yeah,
Japan.
That's correct. Did Athenian imperialism come to an end as a result of the Persian Wars, Peloponnesian Wars, or Punic Wars?
Not Punic. First one.
Persian.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was the Peloponnesian Wars. In writing a research paper, you might have occasion to use the abbreviation CF. What does it mean in English? The correct answer was compare. Which geological era has been called the Age of Mammals? David?
Mesozoic.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? I think the correct answer is the Cenozoic era. Kings Olaf II of Norway, Stephen I of Hungary, and Louis IX of France are better known by another title than king. What is this posthumous title? The correct answer was saint. Give the name for the amount shown on a bank statement that tells how much is left in the bank. Noelle?
Balance.
That's correct. Okay, Peggy is diminutive to Margaret. What are the formal origins of these female diminutives? Betty. Okay, the correct answer was Elizabeth. Okay, what's the straightaway opposite the one with the finish line in horse racing? Blake?
The homestead.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? The correct answer was backstretch. What is the additive inverse of -3? Devin?
3.
That's correct. Okay, identify these things that also somehow ended up as names for cars. A mythical Native American bird that caused lightning.
No.
Thunderbird.
That's correct.
Huh?
The movie with the same title described them as cute, clever, mischievous, intelligent.
Gremlin.
Gremlin.
That's correct.
Oh.
The currency of Nicaragua and a province in Spain.
The what of Nicaragua?
Oh.
Peso.
No.
And the correct answer was Cordoba. Of tuberculosis, leukemia, herpes simplex, and conjunctivitis, which is not a communicable disease? Jim?
Leukemia.
That's correct. Okay, these are about chemistry. Pentothal, propanol, and ethanol are all names given to different types of what compound?
Alcohol.
That's correct. Ca is the symbol for calcium. What element is represented by the symbol Ba?
Barium?
Barium.
That's correct. What is the name for the chemical formula NaHSO3?
Sodium.
Hydrogen sulfide. Sodium
Oh,
Right, the correct answer was sodium hydrogen sulfide or sodium bisulfite. Okay, which of the following is true about municipal bonds? A, they are guaranteed by the FDIC. B, they may not be sold before maturity. C, they are exempt from federal taxation. D, they enable private businesses to raise revenue. Or E, they are issued by the U.S. government. Thomas?
They're issued by the U.S. government.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Jim?
They are tax exempt.
That's correct. These are about the federal government. Which U.S. department issues passports for international travel?
transportation? No.
Homeland Security.
You sure?
Homeland Security.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was the State Department. The Marshall Plan was the name given to the European Recovery Program following the Second World War. It was named for General George C. Marshall. What was his position in the government at the time of this proposal? Jim?
A general.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? The correct answer was Secretary of State. And that's all the time we have for our second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Welcome back. So far, Onaway has a score of 50 and Roscommon has a score of 205. Our next round is the 60-second round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is our 60-second round. The team with the lowest score selects from one of the 4 categories of 10 questions. The team that has 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. Each correct answer is worth 10 points. Any missed questions will then be answered by the opposing team. An additional 20-point bonus is awarded for answering all 10 questions correctly.
All right, we're starting with Onaway, who's chosen the category 5-letter words. The cylinder on which thread is wound is called what?
Spool.
That's correct. A whale doesn't have any, but on a shark there are visible slits.
Gills.
That's correct. What verb means to attend a class as an observer for no credit?
Pass.
What substance weighs more in its liquid form than in its solid form?
Pass.
The republics of Armenia, Moldova, and Kyrgyzstan still use this unit of currency.
Pass.
With what movement is Samuel Gompers associated?
Pass.
What does the prefix hypo mean?
Above.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Clean the lint filter of this appliance after every load.
Dryer.
That's correct. For what literary work is the Englishman Samuel Pepys primarily known?
Pass.
What U.S. president proclaimed? Sorry. Okay, Roscommon. What verb means to attend a class as an observer for no credit?
Anything? Pass.
Okay. What substance weighs
Water.
more in its liquid form than in its solid
Water.
form? That's correct. The republics of Armenia, Moldova, and Kyrgyzstan still use.
Ruble.
That's correct. With what movement is Samuel Gompers associated?
Civil.
Sorry, that's incorrect. What does the prefix hypo mean?
OO.
That's correct. And for what literary work is the Englishman Samuel Pepys primarily known?
Wait.
It's 5 letters. 5 letters.
The Bible.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Okay, and we'll go on to Roscommon, who's chosen the category Finish the Sentence. As an angle increases from 0 to 90 degrees, its secant increases from 1 to...
180? 90?
90.
Sorry, that's incorrect. The taking of a legal case from a lower court to a higher court for a review of the lower court's decision
Appeal.
is... That's correct. A comparison of both sides of a properly written chemical equation always shows a balance in the number of...
Atoms.
That's correct. A person who slips back into serious illness after undergoing a partial recovery is said to have suffered...
Remission.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Lignite is a variety of soft...
Pass.
Bagpipe players are to Scotland as alpenhorn players are to...
Switzerland.
That's correct. An agreement to file a lesser charge in return for a guilty plea by the accused is known as a plea...
Bargain.
That's correct. We are eyeball to eyeball and the other fellow.
No, it's done now.
Pass.
It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle.
Then the ocean.
Then the ocean.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. And Onaway. As an angle increases from 0 to 90 degrees, its secant increases from 1 to...
Pass.
A person who slips back into serious illness after undergoing a partial recovery is said to have suffered a...
Relapse.
Relapse.
That's correct. Lignite is a variety of soft...
Pass.
We're eyeball to eyeball and the other fellow...
Pass.
And it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle.
Through a storm.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. That's all the time we have for our third round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Hey, welcome back. So far, I've got Onaway with a score of 90 and Roscommon with a score of 275. Our last round is a toss-up round, just like the first round, so we'll go ahead and get started with that. Variations in gravity are measured by what scientific instrument? David?
Scale.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Taylor?
Newtons.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was a gravimeter. Faintness from excess oxygen caused by rapid breathing is called what? Blake?
Hyperventilation.
That's correct. James Monroe's final resting place is the city where Patrick Henry made his famous Liberty or Death speech. Name the city. Devin?
Philadelphia?
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Taylor?
Boston.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was Richmond, Virginia. What number increased by 20% of itself equals 24? David?
18.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Thomas?
20.
That's correct. What generic name is given to the protective body coverings of insects, crustaceans, and some fish? David?
Exoskeleton.
That's correct. To which family do the following belong? Maize, wheat, sugarcane, rice, barley, and bamboo. David?
Grains.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? The correct answer was grass. The headlight of a car contains what category of mirror? Devin?
Category 2.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? The correct answer was concave. On a map, in looking about for the Pribilof Islands, in which of the following seas would you find them? South China Sea, Bering Sea, North Sea, or Baltic Sea? Thomas?
South China Sea.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Devin?
South China and Baltic?
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was the Bering Sea. In a typical symphony orchestra, which instrument would be most numerous? Jim?
Violin.
That's correct. How do you spell colleague? Katie?
Colleague.
That's correct. Captain Hook was a one-handed pirate in Barry's Peter Pan. How many hands did Captain Flint have? David?
None.
That's correct. How many people are needed to play contract bridge? Noel?
4.
That's correct. How many innings are there in a regulation softball game? Blake?
9.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Taylor?
7.
That's correct. We all remember losing our first tooth. How many deciduous teeth does a child have? Devin?
32.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Thomas?
36.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was 20. What is the French expression for enjoy your meal? Devin?
Bon appetit.
That's correct. In a right triangle, what is the length of the hypotenuse if side A is 8 centimeters and side B is 8√3 centimeters? And the correct answer was 16 centimeters. What South American beast of burden are the alpaca, vicuna, and guanaco closely related? Jim?
Llama.
That's correct. The orbit of Neptune around the Sun is disturbed by Uranus. Such a disturbance in the shape of a planet's orbit is called A. Perturbation, B. Diffraction, C. Aberration, D. Conjunction, or E. Occultation. David?
Aberration.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? Noel?
Diffraction.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was perturbation. What do you call the time of day when darkness is just setting in? Devin?
Dusk?
That's correct. Café au lait means coffee mixed with warm what? Katie?
Cream.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Devin?
Milk?
That's correct. Changing a globe into a flat map is called a contour, an aerial view, a cartographic, or a projection. David?
Projection.
That's correct. Including the number 1, how many odd squares are there before the number 25? The correct answer was 2. The numbers are 1 and 9. The famous Allied World War II conferences generally held Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin present. The 1943 Cairo conference did not have Stalin because only the war against Japan was discussed. What other leader who would be ousted before the end of the decade rounded this big 3 with Churchill and Roosevelt? Devin?
Mussolini?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Onaway? And the correct answer was Chiang Kai-shek. And that's all the time we have for our last round. We'll be right back with the final scores. Okay, welcome back. Our final scores are Onaway with 130 and Roscommon with 365. So congratulations to our winners today from Roscommon. Join us next week when we'll have Roscommon versus Hale. And I'll leave you a quote from Carl Jung: "Knowledge lies not in truth alone, but in error also." So don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's why they put the Lily erasers on pencils. Have a nice day.